Hello, I'm Liz Lumley of Finextra, and today I'm speaking to Will Cawthorne of Impendium, and we're going to talk about big data. So Will, what exactly is big data?
Well, big data as a concept really has been around for a while, and I think it means many things to many different people. But ultimately, what a lot of people refer to when they talk about big data is simply making meaningful explanation of the data they have. So in everyday life, in trading, in a kind of consumer, for example, we create a huge amount of data, and that's no different from the banking world. You know, they do a lot of things, they collect all that information, and big data is about taking what is ultimately a massive kind of mess of information and making it meaningful, turning it into something that can be useful for them, potentially a competitive advantage, or in the case of things like regulation and compliance, something which they have to do, so something that they have to report.
How can big data really help financial services firms then?
So in the financial services world, as I said, they're creating a huge amount of data, and there are sort of two different divisions, I think, of big data that I think of when I think of the financial services world. And there's the first slice, which is stuff they have to do. So all the information, all the data they're collecting, they're going to have to do something with that data. And that's where Impendium are interested in, because that's all the data that has to be provided to the regulator or a third party or a central bank, something of that nature. The second side of that is potentially starting to utilize some of that data that they're putting together for the regulatory world, potentially as other different advantages. So maybe using that to calculate who their best customers are, who their best clients are, what they're doing with specific regions, what they're doing in certain asset classes, all those kind of things. All of a sudden, by creating an environment where they've organized the data that they have to do, and that's had its own problems, it's been difficult to do. They can also see another advantage, I believe, of actually using that data for kind of business value, business solutions. It's interesting for me, and I think it's interesting for Impendium, because all of a sudden we're trying to turn something which is kind of enforced on people, something they have to do, something that the regulators are forcing them to do within a certain period of time, and actually almost starting to make a kind of business value out of that, almost a return on investment. For me, that's quite interesting.
So Impendium recently worked with a large American investment bank. How did you do that?
So a large investment bank has the sort of problems you can imagine that a lot of investment banks have at the moment. They have to report to MiFID, EMIR will be coming up shortly. Potentially things like remit may impact them as well, and they've had to organize their data, rather kind of disperse information throughout their systems, throughout their IT landscape. And Impendium have created an environment for them using the Elements platform that allows them to organize that data and visualize that data, and more importantly, report that data in a meaningful fashion. So that's something that's been done for them. But in having all that data kind of sliced and diced in a meaningful fashion, all of a sudden now we've managed to put business solutions on top of that, such as brokerage fees. So that automatically just kind of falls off the back of having all that information. Also now they can start to offer their clients their client reporting, or even their own client visualizations. So they start to kind of resell that data to their own clients, so the clients can see what they're doing, to see what they're doing with the investment bank, or what they're doing in certain regions. So now all of a sudden they started to see a kind of realistic revenue stream for something they had to do anyway.